I want everybody to know this as well.
These are African American.
These are African American men.
These are
I'm gonna conclude with that conversation. Me and AB were about to go get on planes, come back and everything, and we're sitting in this lobby of this hotel, and he shows me his phone, and he's like, "Yo, no way." He's like, "Check your phone." And I'm like, I couldn't tell you what I couldn't tell you what the fuck he was about to show me. And he turns the phone around, and it says that Tyre Nichols, who was an unarmed black man, he was killed 2023. He was beat up by
his dad, right?
I met his dad at the DNC in Chicago. Jesus. I have a picture with him on my Instagram. I didn't get like his Instagram or anything. I didn't even like, he doesn't have a tag. So if you know, you know. Most people like seen that picture and probably was just like, oh, it's him with a random person. No, that's Tyre Nichols' dad. Yeah. And we talked briefly about the stuff that was going on, and he had a very positive outlook towards like the outcome of the trial going into it. And I didn't hear nothing about it until you updated me with it. There were 5 officers that beat Tyre Nichols. He succumbed to his injuries like 3 days after, and 2 of them pled guilty and then testified against the other officers and everything. 3 of them were maintaining their innocence, and they all were found not guilty of all state charges in the death of Tyre Nichols. And
no, how? Please tell me how, because I hope we watch the same.
Yeah, yes. we all watched the same video.
That's like, you told me, and I was like, what? Because it happened a couple years ago, and I forgot the name. I didn't forget the situation.
Yeah.
And he had told me the name. He was like, oh, well, this happened. I remember like my OG at the time showing me kind of the video of it happen. I'm like, bro, like this man wasn't doing nothing on his loan, got beat to death. Bro.
Yeah. And so I remember watching the footage, and there's layers to it, because the shit that's happening, it doesn't make sense to me. So my initial question was, like you said, how? What am I missing here? We all saw, or I'm pretty sure most of you have seen the footage. There was a traffic stop. I don't remember if he was like running away from the police or anything at first, but they box in his car. They get out. They immediately pull him out of the car and like start beating him and like pepper spraying him, and like they had the taser on. It's like they taser him too. He's on the ground. And they're like, get on the ground. He's like, I am. Like, y'all are doing too much right now. They tase him, they pepper spray him, whatever. And then that led to him getting up and running away, because he's like, what the fuck? Like, these people are jumping me. They run, they catch up with him, they beat him some more, and then they beat him super badly. He ended up succumbing to his injuries. And then in the trial, the officers were charged with 2nd-degree murder, aggravated assault, and aggravated kidnapping, and official misconduct and official oppression. They were found not guilty on all of these, apparently.
What?
And
how?
There was like so
how do you watch someone get the badge?
So what I've seen, the defense attorneys mainly were trying to have one officer, Martin, who was the one who testified against the other officers. They were basically trying to have him take the blame for the whole thing, where they were like, because he was the main one like doing like some punching and kicking according to the footage or whatever, even though they were all doing it. But they were like, yeah, he mainly took part in it. So they were basically just trying to point at the action that he did. But the problem is, as a cop, you're supposed to have a duty to intervene. And he was saying, as he was testifying against his other officers, he was saying, yeah, I had a duty to intervene. I didn't do it, blah, blah, blah. Like, because he took a plea deal, I'm pretty sure, and was cooperating with the government when they were prosecuting. But apparently no other officer can get held to that same standard when it comes to the duty to intervene and render medical attention after they were beating him. So they both sides had their use of force experts, where one side was saying, oh, this fell within the police department policy, which that was actually their defense. Part of it was that, yeah, a lot of this
fall in between.
No, it fell into their department policy. What took place there? Mind you, they were like laughing.
So
and like
pepper spraying, beating the shit out this man, jumping him. Yeah, that's all in your policy.
That's Memphis Police Department policy, right? That's funny that they said that, and we'll get into that later. But Mills, who was one of the cops who testified against the other cops, was saying that he regrets his failure to stop the beating, which led to Nichols' his death from blunt force trauma, which has ended up what like killed him. And they were also trying to say that like, hey, he was also resisting which this wouldn't have happened had he not been resisting.
Bro,
I'm so tired of hearing that bullshit, bro. Resisting, nigga. If I'm getting hit in my fucking like, it's so easy for niggas, and especially like it be the racist white niggas and the other people, the right in general, will always get, oh well, if you're cooperative, if you're resisting.
what happened before? What happened before?
There are
Fuck
so
outta
many
here, bro.
times that we have seen people be cooperative, and they still do not deserve to die.
Yes.
Fuck all that though. Like even if you're not, these are the same niggas that be in like school and shit like that, or like in like work or some shit, and they get told to like wash a dish or do an assignment, and they have rebuttal or some shit to
Exactly.
say. So imagine if your teacher got up, you was like, yeah, sorry, I ain't do the homework today, or like, yeah, like, hey, I need like extra time on my shit. Okay, cool. Or your boss, right? Let's just say boss. Say your boss was like, hey, did you give me that report? And you're like, hey, nah, I need a little bit of extra time to do XYZ. And then nigga just starts beating the fucking dog shit out of you.
And then we're talking.
And then in your defense, like in your defense, people are coming to your defense or something like that. And then the other side is like, well, nah, you should have had that homework done. You should have had that report.
What were you saying?
I was saying, like, they'll say just cooperate, right? And don't resist. He got jumped.
Dang.
It takes officers, multiple officers to jump you,
Yes.
kill you, and people are still saying, well,
Resist,
And you wanna know-
so resist what though? If it's a traffic stop, like let's say if it's a traffic stop, which it happens all the fucking time. If it's a traffic stop, the second I'm in, me personally, I get in a traffic stop, as a black man, I understand like, oh shit. All right, I'm in a traffic stop. He comes into my shit. I got my hands on the steering wheel. Like, nigga, I'm not moving off the steering wheel. You got me. How you doing, officer, etc. If you come up to my car and yank me out the car, you're bullshitting.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I feel like that I made a video about it because I was analyzing The Hate You Give and the scene where, if you haven't seen the movie, I'm about to spoil it. I don't know how you haven't seen. If you haven't seen The Hate You Give, you haven't seen the movie. It's basically centered around a police shooting.
Yeah,
right when the shooting happens or whatever. I remember I had made a video a while ago where I went in the comments and everyone was like, he should have just complied. And I made a video where he complied at every step. Yeah, he had something to say about it. He was like, oh damn, why are you telling me to turn my music down? Which the cop can't do that.
Yeah,
cop can't tell you to turn your music down in your own car, especially when it wasn't even that loud and he could hear, bro. So yeah, you probably should have some problem. And the nigga was getting racially profiled the entire time, but he did everything, and because he grabbed the brush, at the end of the day, everything that happened was Khalil's fault. Was the name of the person in the movie. And I
watched the video.
I pointed that out because I'm like, the thing is, the same people that say just comply are the same people who a nigga could do anything and it will still be their fault at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The cop was racially profiling, giving illegal orders, all types of bullshit.
Niggas don't talk about the illegal orders.
Yes.
That happens all the time.
That happens all the fucking time because oftentimes
time.
these same police officers don't have as broad of a view of the law that they're supposed to be enforcing.
Why?
That's
because
not
it's
what
easy
they're fucking
as shit to get into fucking policing at this point. There's no repercussions or even like long term like
adding on
process
to
to
what
get
he was
into.
saying, like, you'll just say comply, but I don't think people realize when you're just saying comply, you're blindly like
You're
enforcing
assuming
a hierarchy. Like,
you're assuming that the police is doing everything right.
As soon as I
because
get
this
pulled
person's above me, so they're right every single time.
Which, mind you, they're supposed to serve you. They're supposed to protect and serve.
As soon as I get pulled over,
And if I'm getting
fucking
yes sir, if I'm getting pulled over
Yep.
for a traffic violation, keep it a bean with you. Like, I'm gonna keep it a bean, right? And I don't give a fuck. I was gonna say I'm not trying to incriminate myself. I can give a fuck. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. If I'm speeding, I know I'm speeding. Give me my fucking ticket and let me get the fuck on.
Yeah.
It's that. I don't need to overly respect you. I don't need to overly, because why?
So
we have seen
why? You're here to enforce the law. You're not my enforcer.
Before you
Right.
continue, let me get some more of these details out. So when it comes to the defense, right, and this is all going to get peeled back, at least in my opinion, it started getting shaky because I was reading this article trying to figure out why. And in the closing arguments, there were a couple things that were mentioned. First, they said, well, first of all, again, he was unarmed. There was no weapon recovered. The other thing that one of the things that they tried to say, besides him not complying, they tried to say that there were credit and debit cards that did not belong to Tyre Nichols found in the car. So the defense lawyers were saying that fatal beating wouldn't have happened if he just like allowed himself to be handcuffed. And the reason why he was running is because of those cards, which we have no fucking evidence or proof of that at all. The second thing that they also said was that they found they found like some drug in his car, like a hallucinogenic drug or whatever, and they said the defense for the police officer suggested that Nichols was on drugs, giving him the strength to fight off 5 strong officers.
Of course.
Mind you, he didn't fight off anybody in that.
What are we talking about?
But he said given the strength to fight off 5 strong officers. It was some mushroom. They said it was some mushrooms containing hallucinogenic.
Off shrooms?
Yes, off shrooms, right? You want to know?
Niggas never took shrooms.
You want to know what's so funny?
Nigga, fight off 5.
You want to know what's so funny about that as well? You fuck
5 fucking dilly bars. That's what that nigga saw. You pop that moment.
Say
fucking fight off.
Say you don't know,
about?
because I've never so say you don't know the effect of shrooms, right? The fucking funny part is they did a toxicology report on him, and they showed that he only had alcohol and a small amount of weed in his system.
Fuck out of here.
What are we talking about?
Bro, they try to grasp at this bullshit. Of course. 5 fucking police officers beat the shit out of a man, and of course, well, we found some in his car. Nigga, how we know you ain't put the shit in his car?
We found some cards, so yeah, we get to jump him, right?
So we get to kill the nigga.
Okay.
What?
So So the thing that pissed me off about everything, right, is because I'm hearing all these reasons, and I'm like, okay, it still doesn't explain how the fuck these people have gotten acquitted, but I'm like, all right, cool, say that that's the evidence that you're gonna provide. Then I got to the end of the article and I realized that the prosecution was casting doubt on like the case that was made by the officers, and I'm like, why? The Department of Justice in December did a 17-month investigation into the Memphis police department, which is the police department of the officers that killed Tyre Nichols. And that report found that the Memphis Police Department uses excessive force and discriminates against black people. This was an investigation conducted in 2020 after the death of Tyre Nichols in 2023. The report ended up saying that Memphis police officers regularly violate the rights of people that they are sworn to serve. It wasn't their first offense. It wasn't their first offense. There was multiple instances, and we'll get into what actually happened between in the footage that ended up happening, because you can see that they're like super aggressive for no fucking reason.
Immediately, off jump.
Yeah,
immediately.
And there was a specific instance that they had brought up that I'm trying to. They said, in this investigation that they conducted, they found an instance where officers pepper sprayed, kicked, and fired a taser at an unarmed man with a mental illness who tried to take a $2 soda from a gas station. By the end of the encounter outside the gas station, at least 9 police cars and 12 officers had responded to the incident, for which the man ended up serving 2 days in jail for theft and disorderly conduct.
So you mean to tell me you couldn't just stop this man? Hey,
they shot him with a taser. They pepper sprayed him for a $2 soda can.
For $2.
And the punishment that he ended up facing, he wasn't waving the blick in the air, threatening the whole police department, because they put him in jail for 2 days because it was a minor infraction. Bro. And 9 squad cars are there.
Bro.
This is indicative of a police department that's responding proportionally.
These are the people that's supposed to serve.
I'm watching this footage where they're like, I'll get into it. I'm watching this footage where they're like, oh, give me your hands. Oh, I'm finna tase your ass. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you. Da-da-da. They're like getting a kick out of this shit. Mind you.
I remember when they finished and the niggas on the ground, these niggas was like, good shit, man. Good. And I'm like,
good shit?
Gang.
Over $2, good shit.
Yes. Mind you. So this is the police department we're talking about. Same police department that has beat people and abused people over a $2 soda can. The 3 officers that just got acquitted on the state charges were convicted, I believe, in December of federal charges when it came to witness tampering and violating civil rights.
So these niggas are...
They will serve time in jail already. They will serve time in jail because they were found guilty and convicted of witness tampering in this exact same fucking case, because they were allegedly, not even alleged, they were found guilty of trying to cover up the fucking instance to how they, the extent to which they abused.
Weak ass niggas.
And
mind you, these are, I want everybody to know this as well.
These are African American.
These are African American men.
I'm gonna conclude with that conversation. This African American men. I remember the Coons came out the woodwork. Jeff Mead and them came out the woodwork. It was like, why don't y'all have the same energy? As though Tyre Nichols wasn't a national fucking story that sparked uproar and protests when it happened. Because the officers are black, y'all don't got that same energy. The race of the officers does not fucking
It's policing.
We've been
It's
talking
policing.
about policing like forever. Like,
When has it ever
Yes.
been? We need white police reform. No, fucking
police
reform.
reform.
And I feel like
Police
that's so
reform.
dumb because I
Dumb
remember
fuck.
JJ will always tell me, like, because I'll see a lot of things like on TikTok or like anything on social media, and I'll tell him, and I'm like, and he'll be like, well, that's not realistic because that's only on one side that you're seeing on your algorithm. Jeff Mead, don't be like all black people aren't fighting for this because your coon ass don't have that on your-
Exactly.
What do you
Weak
mean?
ass
Because you
nigga.
already don't even support
Your
that.
shitty
So
ass
don't put
3
that
yards.
perspective and be like, no black people not on this.
You know
bro.
what?
We all
We-
support this shit.
we
Yeah.
really
Talking
gotta
about.
study like the shitty content to right wing pipeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cause
Yes.
no.
Oh, no,
I've went down his page before.
So-
We gotta
Trash
drop.
ass nigga.
We gotta drop a whole podcast.
Yeah, and a lot of them,
Like
and a
that.
lot of them are just like that, where they'll start off with the shitty content and they'll spiral into that through being anti-black and being self-hating. And the
Exactly.
shit that pissed me off about it is that we're talking about this police department, we're talking about all these instances of corruption. Mind you, during this instance, right? I'm not gonna show I didn't put in the body cam footage because it is graphic. But during this instance, I'm watching what's taking place, and I remember reading an article about it because it was crazy. They issued Tyre Nichols 71 commands in 13 minutes, and a bunch of them were contradictory. There's an instance where they're trying to get him on his like back. They keep telling him to like lay on your stomach, da da da. And the dude's and they said that this was part of department policy, the wrist locks or whatever they were doing. He was on the ground, and one of them were standing on his fucking wrist so that he couldn't get away, and they're all screaming at him to roll on his stomach.
So now
He
when
can't
he tries
fucking move. So then
now
he's
when he
not
tries to-
complying, and
Exactly.
he's like, oh, like
now
they're
he's
screaming at him.
resisting
Now he's
arrest
resisting,
because
and then they
he can't
tased
fucking
him.
move his hand.
They tased him after that, and then when they chase him down or whatever, they're like beating him, they're punching him. They're like, yeah,
But why did he run, JJ? This nigga's fearing for his fucking
you want to know where
life
he
at this
ran?
point.
He ran. He died. He ended up like he died a few days later. But the chase ended up ending a few steps away from his mom's house. He was running home because he was like basically home already. And while he was getting beat, he was calling for his mom. Mind you, this is a 29-year-old man as well. Do you know what like state of fear you have to get a person in, especially a man, given like what's reinforced with men in this society? You know what stage of fear you have to get a grown ass man to at 29 to be screaming for your mom?
Bro, that's horrible, bro.
And you're giving this person a bunch of commands. They're supposed to be, I'm pretty sure the precedent is supposed to be like at these stops, there's supposed to be one officer that's clearly giving demands, giving orders and everything. It's 5 of y'all, and y'all are all threatening him. There was an instance where they walked back around after they had already got done punching him and everything, and he's like, I'm gonna pepper spray your ass. Mind you, he's in handcuffs at this point, and they pepper spray him anyway. This was nothing else besides like a modern day lynching.
Yeah.
This was, I remember they said it was like there's a practice within police departments called like the run tax or whatever, where you're more likely to get your ass beat because you ran. If you have to subdue somebody and they're like really fighting you and they ran away or whatever, cool. The moment they're on the ground already, they're in handcuffs. They're like, yeah, all right. He says, all right, like a billion times throughout the course of the footage. Cause he's like, y'all are like doing a lot.
Going too fucking
And I
much.
think
And y'all kept going.
y'all kept going. It's the thing
It's
you
the
just said.
fucking
You're
pow-
more likely to get your ass beat if you run. Nigga, it's one person, and y'all know
And he's
unarmed.
unarmed.
Y'all know
What?
that it's one person.
Yeah.
No one
They
can
said,
justify.
you know
this
what they
shit.
said? They tried
It's
to say,
5
they also
bitch ass
like
niggas
on
trash
and
ass niggas.
the story keeps not adding up because they even said in the trial as one of their defense, they were like, oh well, the cops had no idea how much danger they were in because they
didn't know.
he wasn't searched before they ran. You want to know why he wasn't searched before they ran? Because y'all dragged him out the
Cops
fucking
be
car
so
and started
pussy.
beating his
I
ass.
start beating
Let's
it.
Y'all
talk
had the
about-
opportunity
You-
to
bro,
search him right
you set him
there.
up from the
Cops
beginning.
are so pussy, bro. Let me tell you
All
what
of a sudden
let me
you
tell you what
couldn't-
I've never understood about this shit, right? And this is why I respect. This is why I would never go to the Marines or the military or like the military in general, right? But I respect people that do, and I respect them because like in a way, in a sense, like you getting in that field, you understand what that is, right? The thing about cops, and not all cops, of course, right? And I'm not to create the entire generalization because not all cops are bad, right? But the thing about so many, like some cops that I see, right? I feel like they get into police and they get into the shit for one thing, and it's the power. It's because to put it bluntly, you're a bitch ass nigga. You're a bitch ass nigga, a soft ass nigga, a weak ass nigga, a sorry ass nigga.
And the thing
that never understood how to navigate life without those things, without needing to be fucking some controlling, powerful.
Yeah, you want to play soldier with none of the accountability of a soldier.
Exactly. You want to play soldier without the accountability of actually going through the trouble of being a soldier. So you become a cop and you get to wave a gun around and you think you hot shit. That's what those bitch ass niggas
and when people talk about cops, because regardless of whether or not an individual cop is a good or bad person, that's the thing. The tribalistic mindset, because they've convinced cops that you're the only thing standing between this society and complete anarchy. While y'all have like a less than 50% case solve rate because you don't even have the fucking resources. You are not the only thing standing between us and anarchy. You are not. There's instances of community policing that have been tried for decades where cops are not super militarized. But you think that more militarization, more weapons, more everything for the police is actually going to stop something. At maximum what you're going to do is get a slightly fast responding time, because 97% of police jobs are in traffic citations.
You got to really think about,
y'all are not soldiers cooking in the door. Y'all are not stopping crime before it happens. That's never been a capability of the police.
And then
bitch ass niggas think they Batman.
Right.
Like Jade.
Because it's like you're putting them on such a pedestal. How do you even think in the sense of like a police officer is looking at you, they pulled you over, they looking at you like you equals? No, that nigga's looking at you like, oh, I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do.
He looking down at you.
At the end, they're looking down at you because at the end of the day, society has placed this perception of they're
they're the arbiters of the law.
Yeah, literally.
Mind you, they a lot of the times don't even understand the fucking
and
law.
like, what the
Exactly.
fuck? And on top of it, like, we're not even talking about the real shit. We talk about the cases of like, oh, they were right in this, or like, the bullshit with it. But I think systems should be in place for these officers that are not
repercussions,
bro.
bro.
Not only
Repercussions.
that, like, I think the standard of trying to become a police officer should probably be more hard.
It should be. This is what I'm talking about.
You're reinforcing things for mental health for these officers. Bro,
let's talk.
the shit
So
they see on a
when
daily
we
basis,
say
bro, is fucked.
policing is the problem. Is that policing is not. You are so right with everything you just said. We're not talking about every time we're debating on how many more billions of dollars they're gonna get to get more firearms, to get better tasers and everything. No, 97% of these people's jobs involved non-violent calls and people in traffic. So not everyone needs to be walking around with a gun on them. Something needs to be designated to handling mental health crises, because people with guns should not be trying to handle people with mental health crises.
Exactly.
We need to focus more on community policing, where the community actually has an input on what's going on to the police department, and we need to make them more accountable to the people, so they're not just tribalistic, assuming that like, hey, we need to have all these provisions in place that even if we violate your constitutional rights, we can get off scot-free. There's so many different ways. To assume that our policing system is good, okay, or fixed right now is bullshit.
It's bullshit, bro.
It's just bullshit. And a lot of it is still remnants from the 70s, 80s, 90s, like the drug war era, where we just decided that every local police needs to be walking around like a fucking juggernaut.
Bro, and
to go save a cat from a tree. Shut your
niggas is pussy.
Like, bro.
You niggas
I'm
are
calling-
pussy.
Mind
I'm
you,
calling the police to get some reasoning. Like, let's just say, for example, fucking Stacy and Ben having an argument. Why are you coming up there with your hand on your...
Eight cops or something, like,
bro,
I get stopped by a cop or some shit, and
now 4 or 5
4 or 5 nigga at one time
I
we
got
at
pulled
this
over.
nigga's. Oh yeah, I remember you got pulled over.
I was on the way to the store. I was getting me and him were planning like a double date for our girls at the time. So I was on the way to the store getting her like some menstrual products or whatever. So I was speeding a little bit, and I was speeding. I get pulled over, and the cop comes through. I'm like, cool. Then a second cop pulls up behind him. Then a third cop pulls in front of me into the parking lot and just waits there just in case I drive off, because I'm in a Charger. It's not a Hellcat, mind you, but I'm in a Charger. The only reason why the cop was cool with me is because he looked at my ID and it turned out we had the same birthday.
Wow.
No.
So he was like,
deep
yeah.
that though.
Wow.
Deep that could have been the exact like opposite situation.
Yeah.
bro.
Just one fact like that, boom.
And
His
that's
birthday.
what makes motherfuckers terrified.
Imagine he just would have walked up. Imagine he just would have walked up on the nigga and yanked the nigga out the car. Now you don't know if it's y'all got the same birthday or not.
at all, because you're not.
That's
You
how
have
it
no
happened.
idea, bro. I remember being, and this is why, like, hearing a lot of shit on like policing frustrates me a lot. I hear a lot of people say dumb shit because I remember growing up and how much shit was around that area with just horrible cops. Bro, I remember being in the crib. It's a school day. I'm asleep. I'm hearing banging on the door. They bust my door open. It's 2 fucking cops. They got guns in my face, lights in my face. They like, and then my mom screaming. He's like, he's just a kid. Like, he ain't doing nothing. And they have guns to my fucking face off the wake up. I'm like, what's happening? Bro, they arrest my OG for some she didn't even do. Put her in the back of the car. They realized halfway on the ride that she did nothing and they dropped her off mid, like, highway.
Bullshit.
Yeah, they dropped her off mid highway. She had to go back to work and I had to go to school. Normal day in Heights. Yes.
And you have to continue.
And you have to continue.
just gotta
and then someone in the comments will be like, oh, well, this and that. But bro,
Mind
you
you,
understand
this body cam footage, you
fuck,
can
bro.
hear one of the cops say, I hope they stomp his ass. After, like, he tried to leave the scene.
Innocent. You're bullshitting, bro.
If that's not indicative of a massive failure in the institution of policing in this
Terrible
country,
ass.
nothing else
You need to
can be.
realize,
Terrible.
bro. If
What
you
the
don't realize
fuck are
there's
we
not a
doing?
hierarchy off
Niggas.
that, you're stupid.
Like, this shit,
No,
it was,
you're stupid or you're white.
you're willfully, like, ignorant. Like, there's a lot of shit you have. This is not the only thing. Go look up the Department of Justice investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department.
yeah.
The one that killed
Looking
George
at that
Floyd.
one.
Looking at that one.
Shit.
Read off the, it's not just, oh, the Biden administration would be in liberal. Read off the word for word examples submitted by
Multiple
police.
fucking examples of like
And then,
nuts
and
shit
also
happening in
look
that
up, because they
department.
brought in this investigation how many times that the written statement by the police does not actually match what happened in the body cam footage. This corruption in policing is systemic.
Because then they think
Yeah.
it's some like gang. It's a gang, bro.
Yeah.
They think it's some
Especially
like
the
clique.
motherfuckers in New York.
Bro.
Yeah.
Them New
They
York
be
motherfuckers
moving
is wicked.
wild.
Yes.
They
And
think it's a clique or some shit. They
Yeah.
think it's it is a clique within the
Hello,
shit.
Eric Adams.
No, real spill, right? It's a clique, and I think it'd be so funny when they go after like Chicago gangs or like shit. Because I'm like, y'all niggas do the same
Yeah,
shit.
that's how you're
funny as
taught
hell.
to function.
Yeah,
But it's so much worse because they know they have a safety net.
Because now
Yeah,
they
yeah.
think
They know they can
and-
get away with this
That's
shit.
the
Exactly.
problem, bro.
Yep.
And that's where the hierarchy
And
lies.
any
So no one pays attention to that, bro.
system
It's
that's
that
going to
dumb
allow that to happen will lead to abuses of power. That's why
Yeah.
you need to be able to hold them accountable.
And if
That
you
was-
are a cop, and if you are the good one or whatever the fuck it is, and you're watching them same niggas in your department do nut shit, you're just as bad as them.
Yep.
Niggas. Real
That's
shit.
what it
Shut
is.
the fuck up,
Bro,
You
we
just
all of
sitting
y'all some
by,
bitch
bro,
niggas.
you sitting by playing pussy while these niggas is fucking everything up.
Yeah.
You're not saying nothing, bro.
Yeah, you sitting there
Just like them.
making 50 fucking thousand a year.
as though they care about you.
What you care, bro?
Like, man,
Give a nigga a gun and 50,000.
it's
Bullshit.
It's,
Nigga think he the president's fucking keeper.
Right.
It's
Think
the-
he a
it's
Secret Service
disappointing.
Niggas don't know your weak ass, bro.
Right.
it's disappointing. It's jarring. I feel horrible for the family of Tyre
Condolences to the
Nichols.
family, yeah.
Of having to like see that and having to watch that footage and then have someone get off on a technicality on
Make
some
me
bullshit.
fucking sick,
with
bro.
some bullshit ass he was on when the toxicology report is like no, he was the same thing with George Floyd as
Same
well.
thing with George.
We
Floyd.
just it's
fucking
always
lying.
their fault.
Just lying.
It's always
Yeah, it's always the
awful.
victim's fault.
It's always a victim
Type shit.
And
Is there
Put
a,
a knee on your neck.
do you think there's a way for them to like revert that shit?
appeal it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I would need to look at it. I'm pretty sure they could appeal.
Definitely.
But
They
yeah, they
need to
just
appeal
that
that
verdict
shit,
was just
but
handed
ain't
out
no
like
fucking way.
yesterday.
Nuts.
The jury was all white. I forgot to mention that.
Oh.
I was wondering where you were gonna mention that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're all right. Yeah.
You know what's so scary?
Yeah.
When you told me that was
Yeah.
so
Makes
scary is
fucking
because what statement does that make now for the next person who does that? There's genuinely after this.
I'm gonna
if they
say,
go away,
I'm gonna
there's
say,
no
fuck the
safety net at
specifics
all.
of whatever thing someone might have said something. Maybe it's in department. The fact that they argued it was in department policy shows you everything. But
Exactly.
fuck all that. You're telling me that now 5 cops can pull a nigga out the car who's unarmed, beat them senseless, give them conflicting orders that's impossible to follow, and that leads to them dying and they can get off. What precedent does that set?
Whole police department
That-
finna be on bullshit now.
Yep.
And they already were.
Bunch of bitches.
It's jarring. It's heavy. And it's disappointing.
It makes me so mad because I wanna.
Yeah, and every time I do this, we could just talk about it for 5 hours.
Oh God, we could.
But I was gonna say that it's a disappointing situation. Thank you for watching this long. If you haven't already, subscribe. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? You think we just sitting here doing it for nothing?
You think you're gonna sit here and not do
Need
shit?
to
Like, hear this shit.
What is that? I know you're not subscribed. Click it.
Cool.